I often find that students in database questions feel that they're losing marks for no apparent reason. They don't really understand why they've lost the marks. One of the main reasons is they don't understand the command terms correctly. So let's go through those command terms. What are the top 5 missed opportunities in these database questions of paper 2? Now first of all, this is the unfamiliar database questions. So the context you may not have come across before. That's fine, you're applying your skills to think as a scientist. So let's have a quick look at some command terms. Okay, they matter. The command terms tell you what the examiner wants you to do. If you don't understand them properly, if you misunderstand them, it does cost you marks. So let's go through the top 5 areas and decode the questions. There's 3 categories of command terms. You can see that level 1, knowledge and understanding, they'll tend to be easier, but there is one particular that people get wrong. We'll go over that. Level 2, slightly more complex. Level 3, some real critical thinking there. Okay, so on level 1, these are the main command terms. I just want to draw your attention to this very simple one here. State. Students know what state means, but often they won't read the value correctly of a graph because they don't use a ruler to actually take the information from the graph as accurately as possible. Secondly, they often forget to include the units. Now sometimes the IB will give you the units, sometimes it will say it in the question, or it's put it in the answer for you. But if they haven't done that, you need to state the units. So look at the graph, look at the axis, what are the units, and state them fully, because if you don't, you may lose a very simple mark. Moving on, level 2. Okay, annotate, calculate, quite straightforward. I want to bring your attention to this one, outline. It's a brief account or a summary. So outline is often more than just 1 mark. It's often 2 marks or 3 marks, okay? A brief summary. So if it's a database question, they want you to summarize what's going on. That's an important one. Moving on to level 3, so more the synthesis, the evaluation. I want to bring your attention to this one. Compare and contrast. Students know what to do here, but they don't understand the command term. So often they'll just give differences. If they want just differences, the IB will say distinguish. If the IB just wants similarities, they'll say compare. If they say compare and contrast, that question is going to be 2 marks at a minimum, possibly 3 or 4, and you have to make very clear comparisons. This is where you want to use those ER words, okay? This one, site A is a bigger value than site B, for example. Okay, this one increases faster than the other one. So you need to refer to them both throughout so it's really, really clear. These are hard for an examiner to mark, so make sure your answer is nice and clear. But if it's compare and contrast, if you just give me differences, you're probably not going to get all of those marks. On to the next slide here and discuss. So discuss, often you need a balanced review. So you now have to give both sides of the argument if there are 2 sides to give. Okay, so support things with appropriate evidence and make sure that you're presenting your answer clearly. Okay, so discuss both sides. Often we might take discuss a step further and go to evaluate. So for evaluate, you have to weigh up the strengths and limitations, and then you want to give an overall judgment. Often they'll say evaluate a hypothesis. So at the end of the question, you come back and you sort of give your idea. Okay, so is that hypothesis supported or is it not in the main? I'll just highlight explain here as well, because remember with explain, you're giving the reasons why. A lot of students miss out and they just describe instead of explain. So that was the top areas in command terms where students go wrong in database questions. Of course there are other command terms used, but these are the main ones I constantly see. Top tips as well, when you're reading these questions, make sure you read the question very carefully. I suggest you put a box around the command term so you're fully paying attention to it. If I were you, I'd also underline any key terms and use the words that they're using in the question itself. Okay? Best thing you can do is practice with past questions and obviously paying attention to those command terms. At the end of your question, go back, read the question again, have you answered it correctly? I hope that works for you. That's a very quick run through. I'll do much more detail on all of the command terms at some time, but some students have some exams coming up very quickly, so I hope this helps.